What's up? What's going on out there, everybody checking this video out? This video is my year in wrestling 2005 part 4 video, where I'll be talking about October to the end of the year for 2005, and then I'll be done talking about 2005, and I'll go on to 2006 in future videos that I'll put on my YouTube channel. And I always share the links on my Twitter account. So hopefully somebody watches this, because I'm taking time to do it. I mean, I am doing these videos because I enjoy talking about wrestling a lot, but I mean, I'm not just doing them for nothing. I'm not doing them to get 0 views on each video. If I got 0 views on a whole bunch of videos, I'd probably stop making my videos. So hopefully this doesn't get 0 views, and somebody that is a hardcore wrestling fan will watch. And hopefully hardcore wrestling fans that watch this enjoy it. Like me, I'm a hardcore fan. So I'm going to start it off talking about WWE Taboo Tuesday 2005, which took place on November 1st, 05. And Jim Ross could not call the pay-per-view with Joey Styles because he was sick. I believe he got colon cancer, or they had to do surgery on his colon because I think they found cancer or something. So they had to do surgery on JR, probably my guess is to remove all the cancer out of his colon, if he had cancer. So thankfully the surgery went good, and he returned in 06 to call Raws and pay-per-views again. But at Taboo Tuesday during, I think, Sunday Night Heat, before the pay-per-view started, back when they would put on Sunday Night Heat as like a kickoff show, pre-show to the pay-per-views, Joey Styles ECW music hit, and Joey Styles came out from the entranceway and sat down next to Jerry the King Lawler, and Joey Styles was sitting down and said he was there to replace Jim Ross for a little while because Jim Ross couldn't call the pay-per-view, something like that. And then Joey Styles said, "I'll be calling Taboo Tuesday with you, King." And Joey Styles was excited to call his first ever WWE pay-per-view along with the King. So that was cool to hear Joey Styles get to call a WWE pay-per-view because he deserved it. So now on to Taboo Tuesday 05. Matches that were good, I'm going to talk about. The ones I didn't care for, I'm not even going to mention, because that would take too long. Rey Mysterio and Matt Hardy defeated Chris Masters, the Masterpiece, and Snitsky. And that wasn't a very good match, but I read it anyway. Mankind made an appearance because Taboo Tuesday was a fan voting on the WWE.com on the internet. So the fans picked, I think they had 3 choices. I don't remember the other 2. But they picked Mankind to wrestle. Or it might have been Mick Foley. You could pick Mick Foley, Mankind, or Cactus Jack. And I think the fans voted and they picked Mankind. So he came out dressed as Mankind in the Mankind gimmick. And Mankind defeated Carlito Caribbean Cool. Again, I don't know why Carlito had 3 names when he first debuted, but he did. It was stupid to give him 3 names. He should have just been Carlito. Big Show and Kane defeated the Raw Tag Team Champions Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch to win the tag titles. So that was kind of exciting because we had a title change. World Heavyweight Champion Batista defeated Jonathan Coachman in a street fight, but the coach, I believe, introduced, or after Batista, or the coach came out, before Batista came out, and I believe the coach had Vader with him. Vader just returned for some reason before Taboo Tuesday. It was probably a 2-night contract. He returned on Raw, attacked Batista, and I believe Goldust even attacked Batista also and joined in with the coach. But Vader came down to the ring with the coach to help him and be backup to try to defeat Batista. And Goldust might have even been at Taboo Tuesday, and Goldust might have got involved also trying to take out Batista. But Batista, I believe he had a back injury at the time. He was all taped up. I think he suffered a torn labrum or something. He tore something in his back, or he had bulging discs or something. He was in a lot of pain, but Batista worked through the pain, defeated Vader, defeated the coach to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And I believe it was for the world title, I think, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Women's champion Trish Stratus, this was great because they had all the divas wearing lingerie. Trish Stratus won a lingerie battle royal to retain the women's title. In an Intercontinental Championship steel cage match, Ric Flair defeated Triple H. It was bloody, it was brutal, and it was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it as a big Ric Flair fan. WWE Champion John Cena defeated Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels in the main event in a triple threat match to retain the WWE Championship, and it was a good triple threat. It was pretty damn entertaining because you had Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels in there with John Cena. It was entertaining and good. Now I'm going to talk about TNA. I already talked about their Bound for Glory 05 in the last video I did, so I'll talk about TNA's Genesis 05, which was not the debut, but the first, I thought it was Kurt Angle against Samoa Joe. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Anyways, I don't see Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe as the main event of Genesis 05. Maybe I don't know when that was, but I know Kurt Angle took on Samoa Joe at a TNA pay-per-view, I think in 05. Raven defeated PJ something. PJ was just incredible from ECW. BG James and Ron Killings and Conan 3 Live Crew defeated A1, Bobby Roode, and Eric Young of Team Canada. That was not very good. Monty Brown defeated Jeff Hardy. Christopher Daniels, Alex Shelley, Roderick Strong, and Samoa Joe defeated Austin Aries, Matt Bentley, Sanjay Dutt, and Chris Sabin in an elimination match. I guess this was TNA's version of the Survivor Series elimination matches because this was TNA's November pay-per-view, so basically they're ripping off the Survivor Series concept for one match at Genesis. Abyss defeated Sabu. X Division champion AJ Styles defeated Petey Williams to retain the X Division title. Main event was Rhino and Team 3D defeating Wildcat Chris Harris, James Storm, and Jeff Jarrett. That was a decent main event. Now I'm going to talk about TNA's Turning Point from December 05, the last pay-per-view for TNA in 05. And that was not good. Sabu defeated... I'm not saying Sabu and Abyss wasn't good. I was talking about the first couple matches were not good. So I'm not going to talk about it. Sabu defeated Abyss in a barbed wire massacre match. It was brutal. It was bloody. And they had a lot of barbed wire. around all 6 sides of the ring. They had a lot of barbed wire in it. Of course, it got bloody because what do you expect? It's a fucking barbed wire match. Of course, it's going to get bloody and be pretty extreme and brutal. And if you have a weak stomach, you probably can't watch barbed wire matches. Matt Bentley and Austin Aries. Matt Bentley used to be Michael Shane in TNA, but he changed his name for some reason. And Austin Aries defeated Alex Shelley and Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong was in TNA in 05 for a very short time, and then he left and went to Ring of Honor, or was working with Ring of Honor and TNA at the same time. But he chose Ring of Honor, obviously, because he's still there. Or he's back in Ring of Honor. He's a TV champion in Ring of Honor. Raven defeated Chris Canyon, formerly known as Chris Canyon. They just called him Chris K. That's not worth reading. Sonjay Dutt, Chris Sabin, and Dale Torborg, Dale Torborg, I believe, was a demon in WCW. They defeated, and AJ Przinsky, Chicago White Sox catcher at the time. They defeated Simon Diamond, Elix Skipper, and David Young when Bobby Heenan interfered. Bobby the Brain Heenan interfered at TNA's Turning Point 05. He was actually on the pay-per-view, but not for any commentary, just to interfere. Christian Cage, I believe, just started with TNA in November, I think, 05 he debuted and left the WWE. TNA getting Christian at the time was pretty big. It was a pretty big deal because Christian was still really good in his prime. Christian Cage defeated Monty Brown in a #1 contenders match. And later on, Christian Cage would go on to win the NWA World title in TNA, which the NWA title was TNA's world title before they dropped the NWA name and just called it the TNA World title. Let's see what else. Team 3D defeated NWA Tag Team Champions, America's Most Wanted, in a non-title tables match. That was decent. Samoa Joe defeated AJ Styles to win the X Division Championship. That was great. A great match. Very good work from Joe and AJ, as they usually always had good matches together. NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the main event, Jeff Jarrett defeated Rhino to win the NWA World title back. So Jeff Jarrett went into 06 as an NWA World Champion again in TNA and the top guy in TNA. So now back to WWE Survivor Series, which took place in November of 05. November 05. Of course, it was 05. Because every November we get a Survivor Series. Juventud Guerrero defeated Simon Dean. I don't know why that match was on Survivor Series. Should have never been. Booker T defeated Chris Benoit in the first match of the best of 7 series of matches, and that was damn good. Booker T and Chris Benoit had great matches in WCW in their series on Nitros and pay-per-views in 98, I believe. And in 05, Booker and Benoit had great matches again in WWE this time. Now the Women's Championship match. Trish Stratus defended and defeated Melina. This was pretty decent. Melina was pretty new to wrestling. Trish had to carry her, but Trish pulled out a good match in Melina, or got a good match out of Melina. Later on into, I think, 06, or 07, 08, 09, I think Melina was still in WWE in 09, I think, or 08. But Melina, as a singles wrestler, when she won the women's championship and Divas title, I think she held the Divas title. Melina was much better a couple years after '05 in the ring. As a singles wrestler, she got better, I thought. Triple H continued his feud with Ric Flair and defeated Ric Flair in a last man standing match. This was pretty bloody. Flair bled a lot, as he always does when he does that to himself. Cuts himself, blades, whatever, juices, whatever you want to call it. Ric Flair, every time he bleeds, he usually bleeds a ton. And he did at Survivor Series '05. If you don't believe me, go back and watch it on the network, and you'll see how much Flair bled in the last man standing match against Triple H, his former best friend, his former Evolution member. Triple H, I believe, also bled a lot at Survivor Series '05. And Triple H looked pretty out of shape in '05. He had a gut. He had a little bit of a gut. He looked a little bit chubby. He didn't look that healthy. I don't know if he was on roids or what, but I suspect Triple H did do roids in 2000 and probably 2000 to 2006. Triple H probably did roids. I'm not saying he abused them, but I'm sure he took them in his career. And if he did, I don't care, and I don't blame him if he took them because he wanted to get ahead and be at the top of his game and get to the top and be a world champion. So he probably thought doing roids would make it easier for his body and his look. And roids also make you heal from injuries more. And if you get injured and you're on the road 300 days a year like Triple H was, or 285 days a year like he was from 2000 probably to '06, if you're on the road that much, you're probably going to take roids because they do heal injuries a lot faster than if you don't take them. But if I was in wrestling, I would have never took them, but I'm different. I'm straight edge. And again, if Triple H did take roids, I don't know for a fact if he did take roids, but if he did, I don't blame him and I don't really care. I know superstar Billy Graham abused them, and I don't care. The guy's lucky to still be alive, and Hulk Hogan abused them in around 86 and 88. Hogan looked pretty bloated and chubby. I'm sure he was abusing them then. And who else? Tons of guys have done them. Tons of guys have done steroids. Tons of past wrestlers that are probably no longer with us have done steroids, like it or not. It was part of the business in the 80s into the early 90s. And who else? A lot of guys. We all know Ultimate Warrior abused them. Rick Rude probably did them. Ric Flair even admitted that he did try steroids in 1989, and he didn't look very good in 1989. His body looked kind of chubby and too big. But Ric Flair, it didn't affect his work in 1989 because he had great fucking matches against Terry Funk and Ricky Steamboat. So, enough time about steroid use and who's took them and who hasn't. I don't care. I'm done talking about it. I'm just saying, every wrestling fan that has watched for over 20 years or more, 25 years, and knows what I'm talking about, knows that a lot of wrestlers abused steroids probably until 91, 92, 93, when WWF and Vince started getting investigated by the government, and Vince was acquitted in court as not being guilty for for selling steroids to the wrestlers and encouraging them to take them. I don't think Vince is that stupid. I don't think he was ever guilty for giving guys steroids and telling his talent to use them, because Vince would have had to be a fucking idiot to do that back then, and I don't think he was. So, now, Triple H defeated Ric Flair in the last man standing match. As I said, it was vicious, it was bloody, and it was pretty hardcore, and it was awesome. If you haven't watched that match or seen it, check it out on the WWE Network if you have the network. Up next, WWE Champion John Cena defeated Kurt Angle. Up next, Teddy Long, I believe was SmackDown General Manager at the time, defeated Eric Bischoff, who was Raw GM, which their match was pretty awful. And I'm not blaming Bischoff or Teddy Long because neither of them were wrestlers. So, of course, it wasn't going to be good. But whatever, it was what it was. Bischoff did his karate stuff because I believe he is a black belt in karate. 10-man. Up next was a 10-man interpromotional, interbrand elimination Survivor Series match at Team SmackDown. Batista, Rey Mysterio, JBL, and Randy Orton defeated Team Raw. Bobby Lashley was part of Team SmackDown. They defeated Team Raw, Shawn Michaels, Kane, The Big Show, Carlito, and Chris Masters, when Randy Orton eliminated Shawn Michaels and was a sole survivor. For I believe the second Survivor Series in a row, Randy Orton won and celebrated as a sole survivor. Now on to Armageddon 05, which was always a December pay-per-view for WWE. JBL defeated Matt Hardy, which was pretty lame. I don't know why I even told you that match happened. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Eminem, which was Melina, Nitro, Mercury, Eminem, you know who they were. They were a damn good team on SmackDown for a long time. They defeated the Mexicools, and that was a decent tag match. Bobby Lashley defeated William Regal and Paul Burchill in a handicap match. Paul Burchill, that guy was only around for like 3 years in WWE, and he never got pushed, really. He never got over, and the fans really didn't care about the guy. Kid Cash defeated Juventud Guerrero to win the Cruiserweight Championship. I forgot Kid Cash was even in the WWE, but he was. He was a ECW original. Chris Benoit defeated Booker T. I do not think it was for a title. The Big Show and Kane defeated Rey Mysterio Jr. and Batista. And the main event was The Undertaker defeating Randy Orton in just a singles one-on-one match. It was not a casket match or anything like that, I don't think. That ends Armageddon 05, which, if I grade Armageddon 05, I'd give it a C. I'd give it a C. So this ends my year in wrestling 2005 videos, my series of 2005 videos. This was part 4 of the year in wrestling 2005. Hope you all enjoyed it. Have a great Sunday night. Enjoy Raw tomorrow. I will be on Twitter live tweeting all 3.5 hours from the pre-show all the way to the end of Raw. Why will I tweet all 3.5 hours? Because I'm fucking insane. No, I'm not insane. That's just what I do on Monday nights. I watch Raw and I go on Twitter. I enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this video, the year in wrestling 2005, part 4. Enjoy your Sunday night and enjoy your Monday and enjoy Monday Night Raw. follow me on Twitter at TNA WWE guy, and follow my second account for the hell of it. Not that I need followers. I'm just saying, if you want to follow me, I'm also at NXT WWE guy. Bye for now, everybody.